They say, don't play with fire. Fire is dangerous. If you will get too close, you'll get burned. So stay away from it. And for the most part, I agree. Stay away from the physical fire, respect it, fear it if you must. But today, my dear viewer, I want you to turn your attention toward a different kind of fire. A fire that cannot burn your skin. A fire that cannot destroy your body. A fire that lives within you. A spiritual fire, force of transformation. The force that has the power to change completely who you are. Most people spend their entire life trying to escape the fire, to avoid the fire. Of course, because, fire is painful, fire is uncomfortable, and also fire demands sacrifice. But when it comes to the spiritual fire, above all, it demands honesty. Because the moment you step into it, something begins to happen. The version of yourself that you've been carrying for years starts to burn. The labels you attach to your name, the stories you've been telling yourself, the fears that convinced you to play small in this life, and also the limitations that you accepted as facts, the beliefs that kept you trapped. One by one, they enter the flames. And trust me, they don't survive. I believe this is why transformation is difficult. People think that, this transformation is about becoming someone new, but it isn't. Transformation is about allowing everything false to burn away. The fire does not create the new you. The fire reveals the real you that was hiding underneath all along. And unfortunately, if you really want to change your life, there is no other way around it. You must become friends with fire, because it will accompany you through every step of this inner transformation. It will challenge you, it will expose you, it will, break your illusions. And yes, of course, this spiritual fire will burn you. I think even more than once, but this is not a mistake. This is the process. You have to feel the heat of this spiritual fire. You have to watch old false identities collapse. You have to confront, to meet face to face, limitations that you build inside your mind. Because these are things that you cannot carry with you into your future. So yeah, every great transformation demands a death. Not the death of the body, because we are not talking about some physical, material stuff here in this channel, but the death of who you thought you were this whole time. Because only then can something stronger emerge, something wiser, something freer, something that no longer asks for the permission to become itself. So my friends, if you want to play with the spiritual fire and you want to learn how to do this, please stay with me till the very end of this video. And also welcome everyone to the House of Light and Darkness. My name is Lisa. This is a place for both me and you guys where we explore our human but at the same time divine nature, and we also try to look deep within ourselves to finally find the answer for questions like how can we transform our life and who we really are, or rather who we were this whole time. Okay, now back to the spiritual fire. I actually think that this idea of fire, like spiritual fire, as some kind of spiritual force that has a power to transform your life is not as strange as it sounds, because, I think for thousands of years, human beings have associated fire with transformation. Across cultures, religions, and different spiritual traditions, fire was rarely seen only as a force of destruction. In many cases, it was seen as a force of purification, a force that removes what is false so that something true can emerge. You probably know that in the Bible, God often reveals himself through fire. Like, for example, Moses encounters God through the burning bush. A bush that burns yet is not consumed. Symbol the divine fire does not destroy your life, it transforms it. Later, throughout scripture, fire again and again appears as a symbol or a force of purification that I've already mentioned. For example, gold is refined by fire, but not because fire hates gold, but rather because it removes what is not gold. Ancient alchemists believed something similar. They saw fire as a force capable of turning base metals into gold. But as I said in one of my previous videos, I believe that this process was never only about metals. It was about the transformation of the human soul. But even in Eastern traditions, fire also often is seen as a symbol of purification, rebirth, and spiritual awakening. The old self enters the flames, and then something greater emerges. And maybe this is why fire continues to fascinate us, like us humankind. We know what it feels like to be burned by life, right? We all experience pain and suffering in our life. But people say what doesn't kill you make you stronger. This is exactly how the spiritual fire works. This spiritual awakening, this transformation will feel like fire. But trust me, my friends, after that, something beautiful will emerge. Something you could never imagine before. The version of you which is powerful, strong, unbreakable, free, impossible to be controlled, impossible to be manipulated. So yeah, this spiritual fire, this force is intense, it is painful, and it will make you to feel uncomfortable. But it is also sacred because the meaning behind the spiritual force is sacred. Spiritual fire isn't supposed to break you or to destroy you, to kill your spirit, but rather to free your spirit from what? From all of the limitations, from all the illusions that you've been living in this whole time, or rather you were surrounded by. Now, my friends, I'm not sitting here and sharing it with you because I'm some kind of pyromaniac and I like to overuse the physical fire, but because I know, I experienced myself the spiritual fire. I know what does it mean to go through this fire. I have walked through this fire myself. And when I say fire, I really mean it. There was a period in my life around, I think, like 2 or 3 years ago when I genuinely felt as if I'm burning. Not physically, but spiritually. This was the time of my, let's call it spiritual awakening, like this great transformation, when the limited version of me was dying and the false version of me was dying. False identity I had spent years building was collapsing, and I had no idea what was waiting for me on the other side. For months I felt lost. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know why I was here. I didn't even know why humanity exists. I also didn't know what the point of life was. So yeah, I had so many questions and almost no answers. It's actually funny because when I think about it now, I believe I have never cried as much in my entire life as I did through this month. I cried because I didn't really know what to do with myself. I cried because some part of me refused to let go of this false old identity that, I had become attached to. I cried because deep down I knew that something was dying. Of course, not my body, not in a physical way, but my identity. Again, this old false identity. At that time, I really thought that this was the end, like this was the tragedy. What I didn't realize was that it was the beginning of the greatest gift I would ever receive from, the God, the universe. Because what felt like a spiritual death was preparing me for a spiritual resurrection. I was not being destroyed, I was being reborn. This true version of me was emerging from the ashes of this old false identity. Again, a stronger version of me, a wiser version of me, a freer version of me. And perhaps most importantly, a more authentic version. Someone who could never see the world in the same way again. Someone who could never again return to who they had been before. This is why I'm talking to you today and I'm recording this video for you guys. Because I really want you to understand something. Yes, this process will be difficult. This process again will burn you. You will feel like you are stepping into the fire and you are burning. There will be moments when you will feel broken. There will be moments when you will feel like completely lost. Moments when you will feel like everything that once gave your life meaning is now disappearing. But there is also something incredibly beautiful about it, because on the other side of fire, you will finally find yourself. Not the self that was created by fear, not the self that was created by limitations, the real self, the one that was there all along. Trust me. If you will decide to step into this fire, if you will decide to go through this transformation will change your life in a way that one day, trust me, you may struggle to recognize the person you used to be. You will be shocked by how good it feels to reclaim your power, how good it is to reclaim your freedom that is your birthright. But above all, you will be surprised how good it feels to reclaim clarity. The clarity of knowing who you are, or perhaps who you have been the entire time. So again, guys, no one wants to suffer. No one wants to experience like pain, experience again this feeling of being lost, not knowing who you are, where are you going, why are you here. But unfortunately, this is a process that if you want to change your life, you cannot escape, like you cannot hide from it. It's like if you are a woman who wants to have a child, you know that first you need to go through this painful birthing process. Like the child will not fall to you from the sky. You need to give a birth to this child. So when it comes to this spiritual fire, this inner transformation, this spiritual awakening, it is quite similar. Yes, it will be painful. Yes, it will be hard. But again, trust me, this will be one of the most beautiful, incredibly powerful moment of your life. Nothing will feel the same after you will step into this fire. So yeah, my friends, I invite you to play with the fire, with the spiritual fire. Become a friend with the spiritual fire. Let this fire kill your old and false identity, your false, way of living, to allow something more authentic to emerge. Guys, I love you all. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you so much for watching this video and also being on this channel. And I really hope to see you next time.